I'm Amanda, I'm a certified sex therapist, and today I'm going to answer what you can expect in sex therapy for individuals. Click like, subscribe, and the bell, and stay till the end to get one of my homework assignments that I give to individuals who are in sex therapy with me. So, therapy for individuals often begins the same way as it would for couples. The first thing that you do after contacting a therapist or a clinic or an outpatient facility that does behavioral and mental health would be fill out an intake. An intake is the first session that you do with the therapist. Sometimes the intake process, I learned recently, can take up to 2 sessions. Most people do it in 1 session because that's what insurance dictates. However, some insurances will allow for you to do a multi-part intake so you can gather more information, because the intake is really important for deciding if the therapeutic bond is beneficial to both people. It's important for the therapist to get a history of your sex history, love history, maybe family of origin information, where you've lived, how you were raised. All of this information really shapes the way in which a therapist can help you. So the intake is the first step that you will go through no matter what individual therapist you see. One of the reasons that it's important to be thorough in the intake is to get the goals and objectives that you as the client have. So us as the therapist, the sex therapist on the case, we want to make sure that we understand where you want to go. I studied in my master's program the Therapeutic Alliance, and along with the connection between the individual and the therapist, an important thing is the client has goals and the clinician also knows those goals. So we're all working towards a similar end. Have you gone to individual therapy where you really didn't connect with the person that was your therapist? Please comment below. Now that you've answered that, what does it take to obtaining the goals that you set? Other than a skilled practitioner, it takes your willingness as the individual in sex therapy, being open to what you do not know, asking the sex therapist questions like, I desire this strategy, maybe a partner in the future, maybe better communication skills, maybe sexual satisfaction questions. It takes you as the individual asking those questions to a therapist for you to get the results you want in the quickest amount of time possible. As an individual, I think it's important to ask for homework, to ask for strategies from your therapist. Sometimes we as therapists first give empathetic listening, reflective support, attunement. I think it's important to give that type of permission to clients when they come in. However, soon to get to the goals, it's really about specific suggestions that individuals are seeking. Something that a sex therapist will do is start to gather the information that you have that might be limited. Maybe ask you about your psychoeducation and what you've learned already about sexual health and pleasure. Discuss what you maybe learned from media, growing up, what your parents taught you or your caretakers taught you about sexuality, connection, conversation, how to get your needs met, how to respond when you don't. So starting to give information about ways in which you might have been missing nutrients and start to fill in those gaps of information by either providing educational material, telling you to read a book, suggesting a blog or a YouTube video. That's this next stage of individual sex therapy, is giving the client information, because they usually come in with a limited set of knowledge when it comes to sexuality. Then we will get to the specific suggestion part of sex therapy. So after we've attuned to our client who's an individual in sex therapy, after we've given them more information, Then we will start to get into specific suggestions. What is it that your goals are? And we will align to give you peer-reviewed research or education-based interventions on how to solve that specific problem. Whether that be you want to date, you're going through a divorce, you are having issues at work or at home, whatever that problem is that might be causing sexual issues as well, we're going to be able to help you by giving you specific suggestions based on the experts on what they say for that specific problem. And finally, after all of that, if the sexual goals that you came in with are still not met, we will go into an intensive type of therapy, whether that be EMDR or TFCBT or DBT. These methods that get to maybe the core of what's happening would be the last stage of what we start working on in sex therapy for individuals. I'm so glad that you stayed until the end. If you did, this is one homework assignment that I give individuals who are in sex therapy with me. Download the Pleasure Practice e-guide in the description and make sure that you do the mirror activity. The mirror activity, regardless of your gender, is important to get the mind-body connection beginning. You can't just think about sex and have sex change. Sex is of the body as well as the mind, the emotions, and the soul. So if you like this video, hit like, subscribe, and the bell. We release new videos Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Say hi on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at The Sex Healer, Instagram at Amanda Pashuko. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.